Hello and welcome to Confessions of a Dating Coach, the podcast. I'm your host, Claire Grigson. I am a dating and relationship coach. And I'll be honest with you, this has been in the pipeline for a really long time and I hadn't taken action on it. And I met up with my good friend Andy today for coffee and we were chatting and he was like, Claire, you need to get this podcast out there. Like, I have been a guest on so many podcasts but hadn't actually taken action on creating my own. So here we are. We are here for episode 1. My intention behind these podcasts is to create a space for real, relatable dating stories, dating advice. I'm going to be spilling the tea. I'm going to be giving you like the behind the scenes of what's going on for me. And I'm going to show you that you can move from feeling anxious when you're dating, worrying if he's going to message you back, wondering if you're going to get chosen, moving to a space where you are the one that is doing the choosing, where you feel like you are fully in your power, where you're not overwhelmed by anxiety when you are dating. You are feeling safe and secure. And I wanted to start off by talking about what is something that I used to do in dating that I never do anymore. And I want to give you a little bit of backstory on me. If you don't know me, or perhaps you do, you maybe don't know this. I was in a 14-year relationship. I was married. That broke down when I was in my mid 30s. And I was single for the first time ever at the age of 34. Now, it was a little bit exciting when I started dating, but it was equally scary. I had very little self-awareness. I didn't really know what I wanted. I didn't understand how any of the dating landscape kind of worked. And I found myself in a lot of repeated patterns. I dated a lot of guys who were very emotionally unavailable, who were very, very inconsistent with their behavior. I felt anxious most of the time. I constantly felt like I was trying to prove my worth. And it was exhausting. It was like an emotional roller coaster. Like the highs were really, really high and the lows were really, really low. And I got to a spot where I realized that I just didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want dating to feel so exhausting. I wanted to get off the emotional roller coaster. And I had just trained to become a coach. So I'm a veterinary surgeon by trade. I also run a multi-six-figure business called Vet Empowered. We provide coaching and personal development within the vet space. And I decided that I needed some support with my own dating life. And I worked with a dating coach myself. She's absolutely incredible. And together, we moved me from feeling anxiously attached to being much more securely attached. And it completely, completely transformed my life. It really, really did. So this is where my passion comes from, is because I have absolutely been there. I have absolutely been that woman who outsourced my external validation to men that I was dating. Like when it was going well, I felt really good. When it wasn't going so well, I was not feeling good at all. And I have now moved to a space where I feel secure within myself. I feel confident. I can express my needs. I can set boundaries. I'm no longer on that emotional roller coaster. And I want you to know that it is possible for you too. So, what is one thing that I always used to do when dating that I would never do now? The one of the things, there was lots of things, but we're going to start off with the first thing, and that was I would make someone the center of my universe before I even knew them. And I know you can relate to this. This is when you match with somebody on an app, Or you meet somebody at a singles event, or you see him at a bar, and you're just like, yes, yes, I like him. I like him. And you go on a date, and the date goes really well, and you feel like a little giggling teenager again. You're just like, oh my goodness. You cannot stop thinking about him. You are wondering what he's thinking, how he's feeling, what is he up to? When are you going to see him again? And more than that, you're like future projecting. So you are already mapping out in your head, this is where we're going to go for our first holiday. This is how it's going to be when I meet his family. He's going to meet mine. And then we can buy a house, and then we're going to get engaged, and then we're going to get married, and it's all going to be Instagram perfect. And you're absolutely fantasizing about this person that you don't even know yet. Like you've probably spent like 3 or 4 hours with this person. You've maybe been sending some messages, and already they have become the center of your universe. Everything that you feel and everything that you do comes back to, has he messaged me back? How long did he take to message me back? How does he feel about me? Does he like me? I used to do this. And this came from me having a more anxious attachment style, which is otherwise known as anxious preoccupied, which makes so much sense. So when you meet somebody, your brain becomes preoccupied with them. It sees them as a source of validation and a source of safety and a source of love. And as long as they are giving you the validation and the reassurance and the things that you want, then you feel okay. And you start to slip out of your normal routine. So maybe normally, like, you're a gym girly, you go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, or you have like regular catch up with your friends or your family, and you meet this guy and you think he's really hot and you really get on and you really fancy him and the vibe is there. And all of a sudden, your own things are starting to drop off because you have made him the center of your universe. All of a sudden, you're not making plans in your diary with anybody else because what if he wants to see me? But what if he wants to see me? Like, I need to be available. He is a source of love and safety and validation. I need to not do anything else. I need to keep my diary free. You're maybe not consciously doing this. I didn't, right? I didn't. It's just something that I noticed. I was like, oh, wow, I've not been to the gym for like a week or a couple of weeks. Or I've not caught up with my friends, or I've not made any plans in advance with anybody else because what if he wants to see me? This is something that I need you to understand. You have to stop making somebody that you've just met the center of your universe. And you have to start making yourself the center of your universe. You need to start decentering men. That doesn't mean that you don't want a relationship or that you don't want to date or that it's not important to you, but you need to make you and your own life and how you feel the most important thing. And dating someone gets to be something fun and it gets to be exciting, but he is not the thing. He is not the center of your universe. You have to be the main character. You need to be bringing that main character energy. He's not the main character in your story. You don't even know him. He's like the actor that's been paid to come in for a day at the moment. He's not one of the main characters in the story, but you're making him the main character in the story. And when you do that, it actually puts a lot of pressure, not just on yourself, but it puts a lot of pressure on the other person as well, because all of a sudden you're projecting, you're fantasizing all these things, you're putting all these things onto this one person that you really don't know. So when you can date from a space of, I am literally just going to take this date by date in the early stages. This is when you can start to see who the other person really is. Allow them space to show you who they really are so that you can decide, is this somebody who is truly compatible with me? Or am I just getting carried away with the fantasy of this person? Because how I feel when I'm around them, I feel good. And therefore, I think that they are the source of that goodness. They're not. That feeling good that exists within you already. There's something there in that dynamic that is allowing that to flow, but you're the source. You're always the source. You're always the main character. And when you can make this shift, what this allows you to do is to start choosing. So instead of waiting to be chosen, instead of hoping, oh God, I really hope he likes me, like I really want him to choose me, and it's like this deep burning need, you start to ask, I wonder if I like him. I wonder if he is somebody that I'm going to choose. I wonder if he's good for me and good for my life. Is he adding value? Are we in alignment with what we actually want longer term? And sometimes this is going to be a series of dates to answer these questions, right? This isn't saying that you're going to have all this information on the first date, but what I am saying is slow it down. And this is exactly what I did with one of my incredible clients. So she had a tendency to really rush things when she met somebody that she liked. Like if she went on a date with someone and she's like, oh, I'm vibing, I really like him. She wanted to rush through the early stages of dating. She wanted to just lock it down. She was making the other person the absolute center of her universe. And then it didn't work out and she was devastated because she'd put everything into this person that she didn't really know. And what we did together was supported her to slow down when it came to dating. And that is going to feel really uncomfortable if you naturally have a more anxious attachment style. Because for you to feel safe, you want to be in the stage of dating where there's that exclusivity and you're in a relationship and it feels like there's some certainty there and that feels safe. So you're trying to like speed things along. And actually, you want to do the opposite. You want to really slow down the dating process. You want to allow some space for the other person to show up so that you can decide and you can choose, is this somebody that I want to continue to invest time and energy into? And when she started doing that, when she slowed down that process, when she set boundaries, when she was able to communicate what she wanted and what she needed, what resulted was her sending me a message. We had finished coaching together, but she sent me a message and said, like, I've met somebody and he's asked me to be his girlfriend. And I honestly can't ever remember feeling this happy. And that was because the coaching that we did together completely changed my approach to dating. And I really felt my own value and my own worth. And I knew what I wanted. And I wasn't scared to communicate that with him. And what has now resulted is she is in a beautiful relationship. And I see on her Instagram stories that they have been away on holiday recently and had the most incredible time. And she is so happy in this relationship because she learned to slow it down. If you haven't met the person that you want to be with yet, or if there's like patterns that keep coming up for you in dating, sometimes it's about stepping back and going, okay, what do I need to do differently here? Because if you do the same thing over and over again and just expect a different result, you're not going to get a different result. Sometimes things need to shift and things need to change. And I want you to really think about like, where in my life am I outsourcing my sense of worth, my excitement or my validation to someone that I barely know? And what would it look like to bring some of that energy back to myself this week? So every time you think of him, every time you start putting energy into that connection and wondering about what he's thinking and what he's doing, I want you to bring that energy and that attention and that focus inwards. What's he thinking? What am I thinking? What's he feeling? What am I feeling? What's he doing? What am I doing? What am I doing for me? And this isn't about being manipulative or game playing. This is about learning to make yourself the main character in your story and stop making somebody that you barely know the center of your universe. So, what are three things that you could do in the next 7 days that would make you feel lit up, that would make you feel excited, that would make you feel at peace, regardless of what's going on in your dating life? How can you channel some of that beautiful energy that you have back into yourself? How can you make yourself the center of your universe, make yourself the main character in your story? So, if you have loved this episode, I would love to know. I am here to, yeah, hear what was your key takeaway? Did you enjoy it? And if you want more, if you want to get in touch with me, you can follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, Confessions of a Dating Coach. I'm always happy to chat. You can slide into the DMs if you want to talk about working together. And I cannot wait to see you in the next episode. I am so excited that I finally got this started. Like, this is good. This is evidence that sometimes you really do just need to take the action. So I will see you next episode. And remember that you are the main character in your story.